Corey Murdock is one of the most decorated athletes in USU history and one of only two Aggies to become four-time track All-Americans. A hurdles specialist, he was the national runner-up at the NCAAs in the 400-meter hurdles in 1999. He won the USA Junior Nationals in that event in 1994 as an Aggie freshman, and he won 5 Big West Conference championships in hurdles races. He set school records in 3 events that have never been broken.
To be honest, I wasn't really recruited by anybody. There wasn't much interest in me as an athlete right out of high school. It was actually my high school coach, Dave Boyack, that initiated a lot of that process that eventually landed me at Utah State. It was my senior year in high school. We were at the state high school championships. And at that point, I really hadn't had any phone calls from any schools or anyone showing any interest in me. And it was my coach, Coach Boyack, that went to Curtis Collier, the assistant coach at Utah State at the time, and said, "Hey, I've got a kid you got to look at. You got to check this kid out. Come watch." And so he watched me and filmed me and caught a relay split on a medley relay race and a 4x4 in the trials of the first day. And I remember my coach telling me that story. He says, he clicked the watch, he looked at it and said, is that right? That can't be right. And my coach looked at him and said, "You know what, you come back tomorrow and I'll tell you whether or not it is." So he came back the next day and he split me again on a time that was even faster than the day before. And right then Curtis Collier knew. He's like, "Yeah, we got to have this guy. He's the one we want." The rest is history. Utah State was the only school that even offered me a scholarship, that offered me a visit, brought me on campus. No one else was really interested. They'd figure, yeah, okay, maybe he'll walk on, or, we don't want you, basically. But yeah, boy, Utah State threw everything at me. And my eyes got pretty big when the offer got home. I'll never forget it. I was trying to be cool. I was trying to play the free agent role and be the guy that's, okay, well, let's see what's out there. But the second I told my dad about the offer and what Utah State had given me, he started jumping up and down. He said, "Sign it, sign it, sign it," because he couldn't wait. I don't know if it was just he was so excited to see me continue my athletic career, or if it was just the idea he didn't have to pay for school. Now, there's a big difference between the 300-meter hurdles in high school and the 400-meter hurdles in college. Some kids struggle with that transition. There are some kids that really can't make that transition because the distance is 100 meters longer and there are 2 more hurdles added in. The 300-meter hurdles, in my opinion, is actually a sprint event where kids that do have tremendous strength and tremendous speed can do very, very well. But it adds a completely different component to add another 100 meters onto that. You've got to have 400-meter strength, not just 100 and 200-meter hurdle strength and ability to be good at that event. So for me, it actually ended up being better. I was a better 400-meter runner than I was a short sprinter in high school. So to add 100 more meters on and add 2 more hurdles into that race actually made it better for me. I was more of a natural in the long hurdle race than I was in the short hurdles. So in one short year, I went from being a high school state runner-up in the 300-meter hurdles to a junior national champion in the 400-meter hurdles almost overnight, just because that race suited me so much better. The biggest race I ever ran in was the World University Games in Palma de Mallorca, Spain. That was the last race I ever ran in. It was the biggest competition I ever competed in. I was representing the United States as part of the World University Games team, and we were competing against the best hurdlers that were going to school. I was 4th at that meet. I ran my lifetime best of 48.85 in the 400-meter hurdles, and that was an amazing experience. I think the biggest highlight for me at Utah State would be NCAA's my senior year. To be second in the nation was a big deal, especially with the United States being the way it is as far as the Olympics are concerned. Typically, athletes that win NCAAs are Olympians. It's almost a straight across parallel. Very seldom do you see somebody win nationals or win an NCAA title that doesn't make an Olympic team. It's very rare. There were many athletes that I saw make Olympic teams that weren't NCAA champions, that you've got to be very, very good just to get there. And so to be a part of, and to consider myself a part of that group, and to be, one of the elite that was first or second or third in top 3, really was a sense of pride for me. We drove everywhere. We actually had a trip to Seattle one year that took 2 days. We had to break it in half. It was so long a drive. But back then we had a chance to run in a different state and represent our school, and it was a big deal for us. So we didn't care. I didn't care that we had to drive to Laramie and Southern California and Seattle and all over the place. If it was a chance for us to compete and represent Utah State, and show our pride and our Aggie blue and white, then that was worth it for me. But man, to be a part of a team and to run on a relay team with 3 other guys that you cared about and that you were in the trenches with in practice every day, yeah, that made it worth it. And that would be my thing, that if I could, to thank them all these years later, to thank the coaches, to thank the administration, to thank the trainers for keeping us together, whether it was with tape or glue or mud or whatever they could find back in the day. Old guys like Dale Mildenberger that still just, that you show so much respect to and care about those kind of guys for everything that they had done all those years. And guys like that, that make it all worth it, then yeah, those guys need to be remembered. It couldn't ever have done it without them, not in a million years.